Hello again. My name is Vessna, and you can refer to me using she, her pronouns. I'm excited for our drawing class today. Today we're going to do some more drawing from observation, which helps us express what we want to share with people and the way we experience things in the world. So, before we get started, we're going to do some warm-up activities, some exercises to get our blood flowing and to get our energy out before we sit down to do some drawing. So, go ahead and stand up and find some space around you so you don't bump into anything. I'm going to start with taking 3 deep breaths. So take a deep breath in and let it out. Now on this deep breath, you're going to put your hands on your belly. And as you take a deep breath in, see if you can get your belly to push out, if you can get your belly to expand. So take a deep breath in and let it out. Great. And for the last one, go ahead and put your hands on your shoulders. When we take our breath in, we don't want our shoulders to go up and down like that because the breath actually goes into our lungs and pushes out our stomach. So our shoulders don't need to move up and down in order for us to get a really full breath. So put your hands on your shoulders. You just want to keep them right where they are and think about expanding your belly when you breathe in instead of lifting your shoulders. So take a deep breath in, expand your belly and keep your shoulders right where they are and let it out. Beautiful. Go ahead and lift your arms. You can lift them all the way up. Oh, I hit the light. Stretch up really high. And lean to the side, kind of like this. Sort of like all those trees that got knocked over in that storm that came through a few weeks ago. And take a deep breath in and lift up. And let out your breath and lean to the other side. And take a deep breath in and come back to the middle. And then shake it out. You can shake out your arms, shake out your upper body, shake out your legs, shake out your jaw, and go blah, blah, blah. Okay. I have a little bit more energy today, or at this moment. So go ahead and do 5 jumping jacks, just to get our blood flowing. Just go out and in. Nice. Another thing I like to do when I have a lot of energy is to do some toe touches. So you stand on one foot and you lift your other foot and then you just tap your toes as they come up to your hand. So from the side it looks like this. Tap, whoop, and tap. You can try and keep your balance as you're doing this too, which can be a little tricky. Make sure you bend your leg, the one that's on the ground, and that helps you keep your balance. Okay, nice. I think for the last thing, we'll do some stretches. So my feet are far apart from each other. They're going out like this. I'm going to put my hands on my hips. Then I'm just going to rotate myself down. And then rotate up on the other side. And then you're going to do the same thing going the other direction. So you let your torso come down and swing all the way up. Let's do 2 more times, so 1 on each side. And stretch. Make sure you're taking a deep breath as you do it. Breath in and out. Okay, I kind of feel like I want to stretch my back a little bit, so I'm going to do some twists too. And you can do what I'm doing, or you can do your own movement and exercise. We all have different bodies, so different movements feel better for some of us and not as good for some of us. So if there's any movement that you want to do, then feel free to try that one out before we get started. Okay. All right. here we go. So I have my drawing surface here. And for this activity, we're going to need a piece of paper. You can use one that's in your sketchbook, or you can use a loose leaf piece of paper like I have. So I'm going to put mine on my drawing surface, on my clipboard. And my drawing utensil for today is a regular pencil. You can use a marker or a crayon or colored pencil, whatever you have available. I just have a regular pencil, so I'm going to use this one. Oh, before we get started, we have to get our subjects that we're going to draw. For this activity, we need to gather 3 different objects that are in the room or space that we're in. Depending on where you are, you'll have different objects around, but I'm going to give us about a minute to find whatever objects those are, and then we'll bring them back in front of us. So I'm going to put mine right here on the table before I get started. Okay, go ahead and find your 3 different objects. Go. Okay, once you have your 3 different objects, bring them back to in front of where you are drawing. You can set them up in a way that they're bunched all together so you can see all of them at once. So here is what mine looks like. I have this aloe plant that's doing pretty well, I'm surprised. But yeah, I really like how it's shaped, and I like the colors and the textures that it has, so I wanted to use that. Then I have this lotion container, and it has a lotion that I really like. It smells really good, so I wanted to include that. And then I have a yogurt container, which I use for painting, so it's got painting stuff in it, and I don't use it for any food stuff because I'm using it for painting. So I also got this. So I have my 3 objects right here. I'm going to set it up so that I can see them while I'm doing my drawing activity. Okay, I'm going to move them to the side a little bit so that you can still see the drawing that I'm doing. Ah! My plant fell over. Okay. So we have our 3 objects to the side, and we have our paper set up on our drawing surface. So we're going to draw, first just doing any kind of marks we want to. So we're just going to scribble on this page. We're going to spend 1 minute filling this page with scribbles. On your mark, get set, go. All right, 15 more seconds. Keep going. And stop. Okay. Woo! That was fun. So we have our page filled with scribbles, and we have these objects here. We're going to, on top of this page of scribbles, which can be really fun and energetic, we're going to start to draw some of the shapes that we see in our objects. So, if you remember, I have this yogurt container, this lotion container, and my susceptible to falling aloe plant. So I'm going to start to draw the shapes as I see them on top of my squiggle drawing here. So we're going to spend 3 minutes doing this drawing. On your mark, get set, and go. I'm going to put on some music while we do this, so feel free to start. I'm going to get started in just a minute. Okay. So that was 3 minutes. I feel like I'm not quite ready to stop with my drawing yet. I feel like there's a lot of details here that I want to capture. So I'm going to give us 2 more minutes to keep going on our drawing, and I'll turn the music back up. Okay, keep going and start. Okay, wow, that worked so perfectly. That was exactly when the time was up. Hopefully you got to capture a lot of the details of the objects that you found in your drawing on top of your scribbles. So here's how mine turned out so far. So you can kind of see some of the shapes that are there. But in order to make those shapes stand out a little bit more, we're going to add some shadows. So the shadows show how the light is hitting the objects. So we're going to try and look at the light on top of the objects. So it's not exactly where the colors are on the objects, it's how the light is hitting the objects and creating a shadow. So in looking at this bottle here, I have light that's coming in from this direction. So I have a little bit of a shadow on this side and underneath and on this side. See how the highlight is right here? That's where the light is coming in and hitting it. So I'm going to try and draw a little bit of the shadows that are happening on the opposite part of the object. So take a look at an object that you have, that you chose, and hold it up or keep it on your table and just notice where light is coming from. So I have light coming from a window, but yours might be coming from a lamp or a light overhead. Take a look at where the light is hitting it and then where there are some shadows from the light. It can be a little tricky to identify, but take a few moments just to look at that and notice where the light is coming from and where the shadows are on your object. So I can see the shadows are usually on the opposite side of where the light is hitting my objects. So we're going to add some of those shadows to our lines that we drew here to kind of pull them out of all the scribbles that are happening, which gives the piece some really fun energy. So we're going to spend 1 minute adding some shadows to our drawing here. Okay, on your mark, get set, and draw. Okay. And go ahead and lift your pencils up and take a look at your drawing. So I didn't get all the way done with adding the shadows to mine, but you can start to see where the shapes are being pulled out from the background based on the shadows being included. So they're starting to become a little more apparent. You can see them a little bit better. So I hope your drawing is coming along in a way that feels good to you. I like to keep my drawings really loose and fun. It's okay if it doesn't turn out exactly how you're seeing it. We're just practicing and trying to capture something that we find interesting about what it is that we're drawing. So you can do this lots of different times if you want. Just start with the scribbles and then find your objects and start drawing your objects on top to create a really interesting, cool piece. Thanks so much for drawing with me today, and I will see you again soon. Bye.